Is there any chance of you ever fixing things with 50?
There's nothing that I could fix. There's a chance of me to be open to him wanting to fix it, but there's nothing I could do. It's all on him. I'm the most loyal individual he ever encountered as far as artists that he didn't grow up with. It's just by nature, by default. That's who I am. And although it's by default, it almost has proven to be to a fault. So I see him capable of reconciling very deep differences. I am extremely open to any of that type of interaction.
Right, because you didn't find out that there was an issue until you saw him live and people were asking about your project, right? And he was saying like, why you guys asking these dumbass questions? This is why I don't go live. Something around similar to that sentiment.
Shout out Panda Chop, because I know that clip is going to be inserted right here when he does his thing. If you need it, I got it. Exactly.
Man, roll the clip.
Is Hot Rod, Nice, or Loke gonna be on the new G Unit album? Hot Rod is not on the new G Unit album. Nice is not even on G Unit. And Loke is in LA somewhere doing what he's doing. Like, you know, I think a lot of artists, I think the big misconception is because I bring artists close to me and I kind of like work with them until they develop the skill to go ahead and present themselves to the public. I think they think it's a responsibility of the actual record company to get them hot instead of them taking the initiative to make their own buzz or their own, like they wait for me to put them on a record instead of going to do it themselves to generate interest. And it's not the record company's responsibility to do that.
And I was already being, you know, on the back burner, taking it on the chin, you know, proudly, not giving a fuck what the public was saying. I didn't get irritated until he took the public platform and chose to demote me versus promote me. And I still wasn't vocal about my disappreciation publicly. I spoke to him personally and he apologized. And for those that maybe you are student enough, shortly thereafter, he went on 106 in Park. And he mentioned me in a roll call of what was coming up next as a gesture of showing me that he apologized for saying that. However, it wasn't until 2017 that I actually chose to post the video clip on my Instagram page, which only had 3,000 followers at the time. It was a Throwback Thursday moment. And I had a habit of posting Throwback Thursday moments at this time. And I said Throwback Thursday to the moment when I realized 50 Cent was hating on me. And that motivated him to respond on that post. And that kind of triggered the public campaign of me being more honest about my experience.
Right, because he was saying like the music wasn't good enough or something like that, right?
Which is totally untrue. According to him, my album was ready for the shelf as far as $16.99 price tag in 06. Rest in peace, Turtle was there when he announced it. Kai Miller, his engineer, was there. And also the Puto was there. We were in Connecticut. It's just crazy that he chose those talking points to describe our experience when they were totally unfactual. And his platform and his voice is so big, it's so hard to carve in to the reality, because perception is reality, and people perceive him as being bigger and beyond lying on such a small situation. But I can only, express the facts as they actually took place. He never had a complaint about music production, quality of music, quantity of music. The only thing he ever suggested that I did better at was be more athletic and did better with rhythm and getting a dance step. Those are the two things. As a matter of fact, I'm finna bless you with a jewel that I've been saying in my soul I'm gonna say for the book. There was one point when I saw 50 Cent and I hadn't seen him in a long time in the studio session. I went, gave him Dap a hug. He grabbed my stomach, pinched my belly fat and said, "This why you can't get no more money." And I can give him credit that to the day I met him, when I interrupted him with my acapella rap, and he told me he gonna sign me and all that, I had on a wife beater. And that day, immediately, he grabbed my stomach and said, "We got to get rid of this." It's the only thing he consistently reminded me of throughout the course of our relationship, that I wasn't attending to his likeness. Everything else, I was above and beyond A pluses.
So he wanted you to be more athletic, to be more attractive to the
He used
women.
to say this about game in his perspective. Say what we want to say about him. At least he could take his shirt off.
Wow.
And if you look how shirtless 50 Cent went through the bulk of his career, you can see that how that became his focus as an artist versus the actual craft. But how many times have we seen Tony Ayo or Lloyd Banks with their shirt off? And then those we have seen with their shirt off, like Rick Ross and Mo3 and others now. I mean, it's just ironic that he made that a very point of focus.
So how hard was it to get out of the contract?
I still have, when it was obvious for me individually that things weren't going the way that he professed that they would go. And like I said, I think I lost my train of thought when I was speaking on Mac 10 and Brian Turner. He said, keep the sticker on. I couldn't even get that conversation between Mac 10 and 50 Cent going. I told 50 Cent what Mac 10 proposed. He said it was a good idea, but what's the plan? I told 50 Cent, I don't know the plan, but Mac 10 does. And I could never connect the two for the conversation. Then when I started reaching out to Angel Martinez and Nicky Martin, who were the two people responsible for doing the majority of the paperwork, communicating, and corporate shit on a daily basis, as far as the G-Unit office, outside of Thea Stoudemire, his lawyer, when I used to ask all three of them for a statement of release, when he was obviously uninterested in moving forward with me in my career, I could never get an official statement of release on G-Unit letterhead that would appease other interested parties. I had a number of interested parties, including Alan Grumblatt of E1/Koch, who has given life to Wacko No Hunted and the whole Blueface scenario. He personally was offering me an artist deal at the time 50 Cent had me on the back burner. And I was humbly requesting a statement of release from 50 that I could never acquire, bro. And he waited till that immediate fire was off of my situation. And I still to this day never got a statement or any type of confirmation of release. I learned about it via him speaking on it on a podcast a few months ago, saying why he let me go. It's the first time I heard him communicate why.
What did he say?
He said something to the effect of, I didn't have a record. If I had a record, it would have worked. Then he brought up OT Genesis again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he said something about their situation didn't work out. They have such a good relationship because after they parted ways, OT Genesis came out with a hit. That's his logic.